folks, my perspective here. In flying my drone, I can observe two things. One is that the earth is not spinning, and the other is that the earth is flat. So I want to have a look at these two issues and discuss them and look at the proofs that they provide. But first, let's have a look at some footage that I shot from my drone. So how then does my drone prove that the earth is not moving? And that's what we're going to deal with first. So there's some misconceptions, so let's deal with this, right? If I'm on a train track, on a platform, and the platform is not moving, and I fly my drone, so my drone will lift off, and I fly my drone down the track. I'm flying the drone, the train is not moving. And if I stop the drone and the train moves, the drone cannot move with the train. The drone will stay where it is. The drone will not automatically follow the train track. So I can enable a follow me mode. Then the drone will follow the controller. But in this case, then the drone has been flown. The controller is flying the drone. If the drone is hovering and no one is flying it, it cannot move with the train. Right? Now let's say the train is moving. The train is moving, I lift up my drone. The drone cannot now just keep moving with perpetual motion with the train track. It's the same. The drone will stay where it is, unless I enable the follow me mode. In that case, either the pilot of the drone or the controller is flying the drone. Now, let's say I put a glass container around the track. Nothing changes. If I fly the drone in the container down the track, I stop the drone. Now the train moves. The air inside cannot push the drone. The drone cannot now just be pushed along with a container. That's a misconception. And sometimes this is a lie that people say to use it to manipulate you, and we're going to see how. The drone cannot move. The air cannot push the drone. Now if I'm on a yacht, the yacht's not moving, I'm outside the yacht and I fly the drone. I hover the drone. Now the yacht moves. It's the same thing. The same for the train and the same for the yacht. Whether I fly the drone inside the yacht or outside the yacht, it's the same. The principle doesn't change. It's the same. So now we're going to have a look at some footage where these people are flying a drone from a yacht, and the yacht's going quite fast. So I have flown a drone from a yacht and landed on a yacht. You have to fly the drone. The drone will not follow you. So the drone has to be flown. Either the controller is flying the drone and the drone is following the controller. If that signal gets lost, the drone is lost. The pilot then has to fly the drone in the same direction as he's moving. Now, let's swap that for an aeroplane. If I'm inside an aeroplane and I fly my drone down the plane and I stop the drone, now the aeroplane takes off. The same principle. The drone now cannot automatically fly with the aeroplane. You have to enable the controller needs to be enabled to follow me, or the pilot inside as to fly the drone. Why would it be different now for the train, the yacht, and the plane? The principle must be the same in all three. Why would it now all of a sudden be changed? Right? It cannot just change now because we swapped the yacht for the train. So, if I'm on a plane and I get off the plane and the plane flies away, I don't automatically just move with the airplane that I got off. It's the same with the drone. Right? In the picture on the right, the skydivers jump off the plane because they're not attached to the plane. If I have a drone and I'm flying the drone, what will happen with the drone now? It'll be left behind. The drone cannot automatically move with the airplane. I have to fly the drone. Right? And in its application, if the man gets off the train, he cannot move with the train. And if the airplane gets off the earth, it cannot keep moving if the earth is moving. So something is happening in our minds where we just add the motion of the earth to the airplane and it's automatic. Why? Because of gravity. And it's a lie. There is no practical evidence of this, that the airplane or the drone moves with the earth because of gravity. It's a lie. So let's say the airplane is already moving. What happens if the airplane is already moving? Well, if I fly the drone momentum is attached, the drone is attached to the airplane. If I stop that drone, well, the momentum is stopped. That means that the drone will smack into the back of the airplane. The principle for the train track and for the yacht is the same. So you'll say, well, if a man walks on an airplane, he walks to the front of the airplane, he turns around and walks to the back, the man is moving with the airplane. Yes, because he's attached to the airplane. His motion is attached to the airplane. If a drone is flying, then its motion is separate from the airplane. So if you're saying it's not, then what's the point of wearing seat belts? If the airplane drops while it's flying and everything goes all over the show, right? Some people are walking, smack their head on the ceiling of the airplane. So if you're attached to the airplane's motion is transferred to you. If you're not attached to the airplane, then that motion is lost. It's as simple as that. So of course now they'll say, well, you don't understand, it's science. Well, actually, we do understand. You're selling us wormwood motors. You're selling us stuff that's not real. That's not true. So they'll tell you, right, they'll send in the clowns and say, well, the air is attached to the clouds attached to the airplane's attached to the earth. They're all spinning together, right? And that gravity can discern between the motions and eliminate what motions don't count. For example, the spin of the earth and the earth's motion through space. That gravity is some magic wand that will just sort all this motion out. So let's have a look at that. At 12 o'clock midday and 12 o'clock midnight, the Earth's moving at 110,000 kilometers an hour in one direction, but because of the spin, right, at midnight I have to add the spin of the Earth to the drone, and at midday the spin is in the opposite direction of the motion. Right? And at sunrise and sunset, the drone can just move away from the Earth and move backwards away from the Earth because of gravity. Well, if gravity is sucking the drone towards the Earth, this is impossible. This is simply crazy. This is nonsense. It's a lie. Right? You're being sold something that's not true. right? That you could dance on top of a moving van that's spinning and moving, and you've got Velcro attached to your shoes. The Velcro will just do away with the motion and the spin of the van. These people are clowns. So it's just science bamboozle. Razzmatazz bamboozle. All you have to do is exercise your eyes, your mind, and you'll see that what you're being sold is lies. It's simply not possible. Right? So the reality is, the van's not moving, and they're selling you mindless garbage. The reason why you don't feel the van spinning and moving is because it is not spinning and moving. It's as simple as that. And people get angry and they get upset because you're exposing their nakedness. They don't like it. So if an aeroplane is moving over a square, that square is not moving, let's say that square is a body of water, the aeroplane moves in a perfect circle, right? That's what would happen. And I say, well, you see, that's just your frame of reference. You see, you don't understand science, it's frame of reference. So if the body of water is moving, the aeroplane is still moving in a circle with reference to that square. That's just a con. You see? Because what's actually happening? The motion of the plane cannot be a circle, but has to be a loop with reference to the square. If the square is moving, the aeroplane's motion path is actually a loop and not a circle. So we've been lied to on many levels. It's just sad, but it is what it is. So let's have a look at speed and distance. If I'm on a platform and I lift my drone up, I fly my drone east and west. I have to fly at the same speed, same distance, same time. The speed is constant each way. That's because the track isn't moving. The same with the aeroplane. If we swap an aeroplane for the drone, a drone can land, no problem. If the track is moving easterly, alright, if I lift my drone up, my drone cannot move with the track. I have to fly the drone. That means I'll have to fly the drone faster in the direction of the motion of the track. It's the same with the aeroplane and the earth. If the train track moves left or backwards, the aeroplane has to fly in that direction. So if I'm moving and I have a drone on each end, the drone that's flying in the direction of the motion easterly has to fly further and faster than the drone flying in the opposite direction if they both take off and land at the same time. The distance and the speed cannot be the same for both because the platform is moving. It's common sense, right? So if the Earth is moving at 110,000 kilometers an hour in space, the distance between the moon and the Earth is 400,000 kilometers, right? The speed of the moon is phenomenal. You cannot land a tin can piece of junk on the moon, right? How did they do this if the reality is that the moon is orbiting the Earth? It's a visual lie. It's just TV and movies. There's no difference between NASA and Disney. They both have the same agenda, and you're being blinded by both organizations. It's as simple as that. Unfortunately, it's sad, but it's the truth. So, if I'm on a track, right, and the track is moving, the drone going westerly will have to take off and land sooner, covering the same distance as a drone going easterly if the track is moving easterly. You cannot avoid this. If the Earth was moving, the same would apply to an airplane and an airport. If a person is flying from this distance to that distance and is moving, the aeroplane cannot be moving with the earth. And if a helicopter takes off the earth, right, it cannot just automatically now spin with the earth because it's not attached to the earth. Right. It's just common sense. Use your senses, your God-given senses. So they'll say, no, if a man jumps up in an aeroplane and he could float in an aeroplane, we'll just keep moving with the aeroplane. Called perpetual motion. So the same way with a yacht and a man flying the drone, the pilot has to land the drone on the moving yacht. And it would be no difference if you're landing a rocket on the moon. You have to move in that speed of the moon, which will be a phenomenal speed. How do you stop? Right? And if you lift a helicopter off from the earth, and the earth is moving, you got the same problem as a drone landing on a yacht. You got the same problem with a helicopter landing on the earth. The principles is the same for both. The pilot, he has to land that drone on a moving yacht. He has to go in the direction of the yacht. And then what happens when he stops? Big problems. So they'll say, no. The aeroplane and the helicopter will just land perfectly on the earth. Gravity will take care of the spin and the motion through space. Well, you've been lied to. You've been lied to. It's all it is. It's indoctrination. It doesn't make sense. I say, well, you don't understand science. When in fact we do understand it, and we see that what you're telling us is a load of rubbish. It simply doesn't work, and it's impossible. And we see no evidence of the earth's motion and spin. Therefore it is not moving and spinning. So they'll send in the shills, right, to plug the leaks. And the game is up long ago. We see through your lies. The ship is broken and it's sinking, and these clowns are running around sending shills to plug the leak. Really? Don't waste my time, mate. Go away, you fool. So if the platform is facing sideways, the track is moving east, your drone, you'd have to keep the momentum of the easterly motion with your drone constant with the platform, so that you could land your drone on that platform. If you fly from one end of the platform to the other and that track is moving, you'd have to keep up to speed with the platform easterly and then keep up to that motion and then land. How does an aeroplane do this on a spinning, moving earth? It cannot. So therefore we don't see this happening, and the earth is not moving. Right, so what about, how does the drone help me understand that the earth is flat? So let's have a look at some footage, then we'll discuss this. Right, so you'll say, well, in your own footage I could see the curve of the earth. Right? Well, in this footage I used a GoPro, and unfortunately, depending on which lens you use, if If you don't have a rectilinear lens, you've got problems. There's going to be a curve. So we're going to discuss this. So the issue with the drone is that if the Earth's curved, the highest point of the Earth always has to be directly under the drone. So it doesn't matter how big or small you make the drone can never see the horizon if it's level with the ground in front of it. It would be impossible. How could the drone see the horizon 360 degrees all around it? And that's the key. 360 degrees around you. Because if the drone sees the horizon in front of it, right, the drone had to be angled. That means if the drone turned 180 degrees behind, it cannot see the horizon in front of it. So the drone can only see the horizon 360 degrees around about if the Earth's flat. Right? It's impossible. So what do we see with a drone? Right? The drone always remains 100% level. Watch footage. Take some time. Go look at footage. As a drone moves above the clouds, the drone turns 360, always maintains the clouds in a line. Means the clouds are flat on the bottom, the Earth is flat. From the perspective of the drone, it moves in a level. The horizon is always level with the drone, no matter how high the drone goes. And if the drone turns 360 degrees, the horizon level is maintained. It means the Earth's flat. Now if you say, well, there I can see the curve of the Earth in front of me. If the drone turns 360, the ball can't stay in front of the drone. And if the drone turns its angle, in other words, if the drone rotates one axis, it has to realign all three axes so that it can line itself up with the horizon. So I say, no, but the drone not going high enough to see the curve. And then the same clown will tell you that you can see the curve of the Earth if you're standing on the Earth because you can see a ship go behind the horizon. Do you understand that this is wormwood? It's lies. It's just disgusting lies. These people will lie with a smile on their face. So let's look at some of the other garbage that they tell you. If you go outside, right, and you see a car, and you see a man floating inside the car, you'll say, well, that's impossible. Because the car is attached to the Earth's gravity, the man inside must also be attached to the gravity. But now they'll tell you that you put the car in space, right, in the ISS, the International Space Station. The International Space Station, like the car, is attached to the Earth's gravity, yet the man inside can float. Well, if the ISS is attached to the Earth's gravity, the man inside must also be. Same as on the ground, there's no difference. You understand? It's just a lie. It's garbage. They're tricking us. Wake up. So, if the car is attached to the Earth's gravity, it's been pulled down. But if the ISS goes into space, now all of a sudden it doesn't fall downwards, it falls forward. And it falls forward at a constant speed, but will never fall down to Earth. So at what point does that motion direction change? I can't tell you. See, it's science, you don't understand. No, we actually do understand. The thing is, we're just sick and tired of your lies. We're just sick and tired of this. And we just have to stand up and speak out about it and just say, look, enough. Stop lying to us. Take your lies, take your ball and go away. So they say, you don't understand it, science. This stuff is too complicated for you. It's just a con man. Whenever they get caught out, they say you don't understand. Like they're trying to sell you something and you say, look, I'm not going to buy into this because, I work hard for my money. You go sell your junk to someone else who's willing to pay for it because I'm not. So let's look at some of this total mindless garbage from NASA and just pay attention to this.
The last thing anybody wants now is an emergency. But like everything else, they're ready for that too.
Once the crew are on board, if it looks as if they're in danger, they get out and head down this tube, specially insulated against fire, and zigzagging down not to some point out and away from the rocket, but to an escape room exactly where you'd think it shouldn't be.
Three and a half minutes after they get the warning in the capsule, the crew could be down here in the blast escape room via that 200-foot escape tube, 40 feet below the base of the rocket.
Right, so at this point it looks like I'm in danger. I'm going to get out, unbuckle myself, go slide down the chute.
Once the crew are on board, if it looks as if they're in danger, they get out and head down this tube.
On this side of that door, the rarely seen glass escape room itself. It's totally isolated.
And more waffle. Right, really? What a con.
All I get to release foam rubber, shock absorbing seats, as you can see. Room is built to withstand the simultaneous explosion of every particle at a time. And in the event, strapped into your shock absorbing seat, if your rocket did blow itself to bits, or you your head, all you feel will be a mild rumble from somewhere up there.
So the emperor has no clothes, and many people see that the emperor has no clothes, but just afraid to speak out. Right? It takes the innocence of a young child to say the emperor has no clothes. Everybody knows it, everybody can see it. They're scared of the emperor. Right? And the emperor in the science community are the big gurus, right? And people blindly follow them, being proud, and it's a joke. It's so funny. It's a joke. And the churches, many of the churches, are not waking people up. It's unfortunate. They should be waking people up, but they're putting people to sleep. Right? We need to wake up and look and think. So what is Revelation? We know we're living in the last days. Jesus says, look, I'm coming as a thief. Happy is the one who stays awake and keeps his outer garment, so that he may not walk naked and people look upon his shamefulness. So why? And before that, Revelation says that I saw three unclean inspired expressions that look like frogs come out of the mouth of Satan, out of the mouth of the wild beast, the political system, and out of the false prophet. And these expressions perform signs, right? And they gather them together for the war of the great day of God Almighty. So these signs have already started. People just not seeing it. And it comes down to the very basics. Apollo. Apollo's Satan. He wasn't content with being called a son of God. He wanted to be worshipped as a God. Right, and all those who follow his same attitude, right? What's the difference between building a tower in Babel to go to the heavens, right? So you can seat yourself and put your throne up in the heavens. That's what the point was, is to say, I'm also a God, I want to be a God. And people just don't see it. And this is what it is. So I hope this makes you think, and cheers, and thanks for watching.